schedule of today.
Just give me 1 second.
Saturday, it's October 26th, 2013, and it's the fourth day.
Today's Saturday.
Yes, sir. Today's Saturday. This is the fourth day.
Kiss my silence.
For reference and investigation. And from my understanding, we've talked to you again every day since Wednesday, since this began. And it's my understanding that today did you notify one of the guards or notify someone at the judge who wished to talk to us?
I told him to tell you to check the database.
Okay.
Because a while back I remember Ty offered to take me to go away. You feed the gators and they'll eat whatever you give them. Mostly chicken.
Okay. Well, since we had a break in contact with you, what I want to do, like I've done in the past, is want to make sure you're aware of your rights, and then as we can continue to talk about some things today. So I'm going to read them to you, and I'm going to ask you if you understand each and every line that I read.
Yeah, my public defender told me not to speak to you guys, too.
Well, I'm going to read you your rights, and then you're going to make the decision whether you wish to talk to us or not. Okay?
Okay.
You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yes.
Anything you say can be used against you in court. Do you understand?
Yes.
You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions and have him or her with you during questioning. Do you understand?
Yes.
If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning if you wish. Do you understand? If you decide to answer questions without a lawyer present, you will still have the right to stop answering at any time. You always have the right to stop answering at any time until you talk to a lawyer. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you understand each of these rights as I have explained to you?
Yes.
With these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to us now?
Yes.
Okay. So where are these gator pits that you're talking about? Would you be able to take us there? We drove you? They were in Sanford?
Remember how far into Sanford? Or what? Off what major street?
Well, you used to live over there off of, H.E. Thomas. Was it close to H.E. Thomas? Is it closer to 415? I give you two options. Which one was the one that's probably?
Probably the closest to Sanford.
Well, they're both in Sanford.
Yeah.
Probably the closest to I-4.
Is your gator pit close to I-4?
I've never seen it.
Oh, I thought he took you there before. He never took you there before?
Oh, he offered to take me. You're talking about I'm going water. If I can't see my feet, I'll go in the woods.
Had this conversation come up where all of a sudden he's like, hey, if you want to feed some alligators, here's a place to go.
We were talking about food and gator tail. You know, country people and your raccoon and all that crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just figure out like gator tail. I know a spot where they feed gators live. You can go away and just throw them whatever you'll eat. You can hunk them if you want to.
Hmm.
As long as you got a stick, you can back them up if they get too close to you.
This is in, do you think this is in the city where people live?
I don't know.
I was going to say, I don't know if it's around houses. That's, it would seem like a hazard to me. But I asked you if we drove you out there, if you think you'd be able to guide us to where this is at. How do you think you'd be able to guide us if you've never been there?
I don't know. Maybe instinct.
Instinct? We talked before, this thing with your brother. Now yesterday we talked, and I shared your story with some of the guys in the office, and one of the things that they were talking about was that you said that you're 100% positive you went there after you dropped the car the first time with Ty. Is that correct? Okay. And that you had a conversation with your brother, and your brother said he didn't want to get involved. Correct? So your brother, Chris, right? That's your brother? Your brother was aware of what you had done to your wife?
No, not really.
He didn't know details. Did he ask you why you needed to get rid of her car?
I can't remember.
Can't remember? Sure, we'll take that. Let me, sure there's nobody over there.
What made you think of the gator pit?
I was listening to
You get some sleep and you eat. You're still holding together pretty good, so I think you know the importance of us finding them. Family's extraordinary, man. I'm sure you can understand.
Ready?
Sure you don't want something to eat, man? I'm sure you're getting to the point you just want this over with, right? Move on from it. What's that? Where else can we look? Yeah.
Is there anything else that, any other variations of your story that you left out, whether to protect people or make sure that keep them from being involved, something of that nature that we should know about? Am I going to find any more surprises?
No, that's it.
That's it? Okay. So that thing with your brother, when he came in and said, well, he came over to my house, he was wearing this is what we talked about. Kind of caught me off guard because I thought me and you and Kurt had talked about everything that had happened. And so I just wanted to make sure that there's nothing else, because again, we're out there again today, obviously looking in various parts for your family.
The family basically just wants to be able to put them to rest. And we agree, and that's why we're putting everything we can into finding them. And that's our priority right now. I know you asked something about charging you just to get it over with. And again, that's not our priority right now. Priority is finding them. water in it. So you drink some so it don't spill anymore.
Yeah, I'm tempted to drink some, yeah. Off the top, bro.
I'm telling you, water's the best thing for you, man. Well, you can't work without it.
Stay hydrated.
Yep.
Bring a little relief there to you? Yeah?
Probably a bunch of paper towels, Chris.
Yeah. What do you think about any of the other areas where they can be? And again, I really don't, I'm not asking who did what, how. The only thing we need right now is just where we can find them, an address, location, something you can remember that if he did it, something that what he said.
Take me to the bathroom again.
You can go bathroom again?
Yes.
Cool. That's good.
Hold on, let me clean my phone too.
Sergeant, I want to ask you some questions about what we just saw. This right here was the second time that the defendant in this case requested to go to the bathroom during this interview. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, we saw him, well, let me just ask you, as he stood up to say he needed to use the restroom, the recording, the transcript reflects this as well, indicates that he looked at you and said, just you.
That's correct.
What do you think, what went through your mind when he said, just you? What do you think he meant by that?
I was thinking he was going to just have one person in the bathroom with him, and I was hoping that he would provide more information just to me.
Okay. Now, right before I hit pause there, we saw you leave the room and then go back in and pick up something from the table. What was that?
It was a voice recorder that was on the interview table.
And why did you grab that?
To get whatever statement was made on recording.
Okay. You do not have video cameras such as you have in this interview room, in the hallways, and in the bathroom. Correct?
At that time, no.
Okay. Where was the bathroom in relation to the interview room here in the video?
It's actually right on the opposite side of the interview room. You can see where there's a blind. To the left of that would be the bathroom, on the opposite side.
Okay. And so you took the handheld recording device?
That's correct, yes.
And this just picks up audio recording, is that correct?
That's correct.
So after you and the defendant leave the room, he tells you he wants just you to go with him. You get the recording device. What happens next?
We start to walk towards the bathroom, and as we do so, I pass Investigator Ford in the hallway, and I request him to come with me discreetly.
Okay, and why was that?
Just in case something was said, or again, we're interviewing somebody that we believe has serious charges against them, and just for officer safety.
Okay. And so you escorted the defendant to the bathroom?
I did, correct.
And Investigator Ford discreetly followed you?
Correct. When you come around the hallway, it's probably about 6 feet from the end of the hallway to the bathroom, and that's where Investigator Ford stopped.
Okay, just kind of out of sight?
Out of sight, correct.
Okay, and when I say out of sight of the defendant, correct?
Correct.
Right. So as you escort him to the bathroom, does the defendant actually go into the bathroom?
He does.
All right. And let me just kind of backtrack. His first trip to the bathroom, how did you have him there? He's in custody. How do you do that for security reasons?
Again, he's with 2 investigators. The door would remain open. In this case, it's an open in door, and one of the investigators would stand in between the door, so it couldn't be shut.
Okay. And on this particular occasion, the defendant goes into the bathroom?
He does.
And what does he do?
He sits down on the toilet, which is shut.
Okay. So you said the toilet is shut?
It is.
And does he still have his clothes on?
He does.
All right. What is he doing when he sits down?
He sits down, and he pretty much just goes into just conversation with me. He never actually utilizes the bathroom.
Okay. Where is Detective Ford at this time?
He is off to my right, about 6 feet away.
All right. So you and the defendant are having some conversation.
Correct.
How was his tone of voice? When I say maybe not tone, but volume. Is he talking loudly?
No, it's similar to how he's been that entire day. Very low, monotone.
Are you able to capture any of his statements on the recording device?
No.
And why not?
Mr. Toledo observed the voice recorder in my hand, and he requested that I get rid of it.
Okay, so you were holding it in your hand where he could see it?
That's correct. I was kneeling down because he was sitting on the toilet facing me, and I had it in my hand.
Okay. And where exactly were you positioned?
I was in the doorway of the door.
Okay. Now, so he tells you to get rid of the recording device. What do you do with it?
I take it and I slide it on the carpet.
All right. And so did you try to keep it on?
Yes. I never turned it off. I just put it down on the carpet and tried to slide it away.
Okay. And what happened when you did that?
Of course, the Murphy's Law, the battery came out when it slid down.
So what happened next?
He wanted to check to make sure I didn't have any other recording devices on me. So he made me empty my pockets, make sure I don't have any cell phones on me.
And did you have any other recording devices on you?
No.
So what happened after that?
And then he goes into, I'll read from my report.
Well, don't just, if you need to review your report to refresh your recollection, that's okay, but don't read from it.
No, that's not. He asked me in a pleading voice that he wanted to go home. Asked me to take him home.
Okay. Did you ask him why he wanted to go home?
I did. And he went into how he just wanted to die. He wanted to die where his family died. Okay.
And did he get explicit with you on sort of how this was going to go down at his house? How was he going to die at his house?
Yes. He initiated that I can shoot him. We can take him back to the house. I can loosen his cuffs, and myself or another deputy, right, could shoot him as he's trying to escape, or he can grab a knife and try to escape.
Okay. How did you respond to that?
Well, again, I wasn't expecting that. And I went into how I first asked him to tell me where the bodies were first. And then he replied immediately that he's never going to tell me where the bodies are.
The defendant said, "I'm never going to tell you where the bodies are."
That's correct. Right after my first statement on just telling us where the bodies are first, he responded with, "I'm never going to tell where the bodies are." And then he became aggressive. And that's when I called Investigator Ford up, and we concluded the interview there.
Okay, and just so we're clear, when you say aggressive, what do you mean by that?
Well, you can see how his tone was throughout the whole day. When he made that comment, he started to tense up and to put in like he wanted to fight.
Okay, but he never did, right?
No, he didn't have the opportunity. I called Investigator Ford up, and we took him out of the bathroom.
Okay. So the defendant never actually went to the bathroom this second?
He never went to the bathroom, that's correct.
Now, what happened after you took the defendant back into the interview room?
We attempted to review the recording device that we had to see if it actually captured anything prior to it not working, and unfortunately it did not.
So did you try to get him to repeat any of this information that he had said off camera during the interview?
Yes, we came back into the interview room and we spoke to him in reference to trying to see why he wanted to go back to the house, and re-engage on what the discussion was in the bathroom.
Okay. And we'll turn the video on here in just a second, but after there was further conversation on the video, was there did the defendant request a third time to go to the bathroom?
He did.
Okay. And we'll see that on the video as well. All right. May I restart the video, Your Honor?
May proceed.
Did you eat? Sema. Did you eat? I went outside, man, did some thinking. Talked to a couple people, prosecutors and stuff, and where we just came from, reference to our discussion. And again, I don't have a reporter on me, this is between me and you. Can you hear me? The whole thing with me and you going to your house, okay? And you wanting to end your life, and me take your life, like all that kind of stuff. Listen to me, okay? Do you think I could ever do that to you? Semi? I mean, to me, when you come to me and tell me, or anybody in general, tells me that they want me to take their life because they don't want to tell, they don't want to live anymore, you put me in a bad position. I understand the position you're in, and I'll never understand fully. And are you thinking that way just because you want to be with them? Or what are you thinking? Sam, I need to know where your train of thought's at. It does nothing but help me. Is there a reason why you wanted to go back to your house to do it? Sam, bro, I'm just trying to get into your head. I'm trying to think, you know? So you wanted to die the same place your family died? So you're thinking that you just want to be with your family right now? Well, help me find them to where we can put them to rest peacefully. Because I know you're a religious man. You got a lot of faith in you. And I know you believe that they believe that they would want to be with you. And you will get there eventually, okay? But what about the rest of the family? You know, what about the grandparents and cousins and everybody else? This isn't just about Semi anymore, man. You know that. And that's why they're looking to give you some consideration, because it's not about you. It's about the family. And they're willing to do whatever they can do to bring some kind of closure to this family. Think about it. I'll go get you some water. All right? Is there anything that you're not telling us, someone? I mean, it seems like every day we get a little bit more and more, something that you leave out. With the whole thing with the brother,
That's all you want, my brother.
I know, I trust me, we understand. Okay? But to us, it makes you seem like you're leaving things out. I mean, what happened, happened. It's in the past. Let's just find these kids, man. Help find your family. I'm gonna give you some time to think about it. I'm gonna go get you some water.
Do you want to be with your family? I want to put all four of you together. Because there is, make no mistake, Samad, you are going to die. I'm going to die. Everyone who's on this earth is going to die. But the afterlife is eternal, and everyone is brought together. When I die, I want to be buried with my family. Those children and your wife are your family.
I know I'll be buried with him.
You do not want to be buried with them?
I know I won't.
Why not?
If I leave him alone.
Is it because of what happened?
My family doesn't have anybody to bury.
You admitted to what happened to your wife. You say that her family obviously will not let you be buried. If you were to be buried with them, they would not allow it. Am I to say that you are responsible for the other two?
You guys spoken to Jackie and Larry?
I have not. You've mentioned them a few times now. How can they help us? Is your family there?
They were my wife's mentors.
How can they help us find your family?
Can I talk to them?
I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest with you. How is that going to help? If you know something more, will you tell them? You will? You have a number for him? Do you remember? I think I wrote their last name down. Let me check my notepad. You remember their last name, right? Webb. Larry and Jackie Webb, correct? They live in Orlando? And you're going to tell them what we need to know? Sim, are you going to tell them where your family's at? You don't know if you're going to tell them? You don't know? how are Jackie and Larry normally help similarly? I want to let you talk to Jackie and Larry. From what my notes I had in the past, they're in the 50s or 60s. He's the CEO of Kissimmee KUA. Was that correct? Did you go to church with them too? They're just her mentors. Do you know anybody else that might be able to give me their phone number that you have a phone number for? Her mother, Ms. Perez, mother-in-law? Okay. My friends are working on getting those numbers, or getting a number. We're working on getting you a phone so you can talk to them.
Use the bathroom and stomach hurts.
You use the bathroom again?
Stomach hurts.
Okay. Let me just make sure it's clear. Ready? Still not bad, huh?
the chefs. I'm going to pause it right here. We hear a lot of banging in the background. What is that we hear?
Well, at this time, Mr. Toledo slammed the door in the bathroom. The bathroom was an open indoor, and he was able to close the door on Investigator Ford.
Okay. And he's barricaded himself.
And he barricaded himself in the bathroom.
The banging, what is that we hear?
The banging, at first, is us trying to make entry into that bathroom.
How so?
At first, it's by pushing and trying to kick the door in.
Okay. And we hear a lot of running around. What is that?
At some point, I leave to exit the building to go to my vehicle, and I have a battering ram and a taser in my vehicle. And
You brought those back?
Yeah, I obtain them, and I come back into the building.
Break it down, dude. But I need you. Go. Break it. I got it. On the way.
Pause it right here again. Were you and the other detectives eventually able to make entry into the bathroom?
Yes.
And what did you find once you were able to make entry into the bathroom?
Well, we weren't able to open the door at that time. We were able to put a hole in the door. We were able to tase him through the door, at which time it allowed us to push the door open, and we were able to drag him out.
Okay. So you were able to knock a hole in the door?
That's correct.
And you were able to take the taser, put it through the hole in the door, and tase the defendant through the door?
That's correct.
And after you were able to tase him, he was released his hold on the door, and you were able to make entry at that point?
That's correct.
Once you made entry into the door, into the bathroom, what did you find?
It was full of blood. Somehow he was able to break the mirror and was using the mirror to cut himself.
Where?
I believe he was cut his throat, and then he was cutting his left arm, trying to stab and cut his left arm.
All right. Kevin.
Mute the screen, Your Honor. Now, Sergeant Sheps, in the video, you hear someone yell to someone, call 911. Was 911 called?
They were, yes.
And was paramedics, did paramedics respond to the operations center?
Yes, they did.
And was the defendant at that point transported to the hospital?
Yes, he was treated on scene and transported.
May I have a moment, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, why don't we take a 15-minute break, okay? Yeah, take it.
Investigator Ford, tell us what we're seeing in this first photograph, please.
Yeah, that's the bathroom and the door. You can see in the top right-hand corner above the sink, that's where the mirror was. And then, of course, the door, you can see, the holes in it where it was struck with the ram. The hole on the bottom, I believe, was the one that Investigator Pagliari was able to fire the taser through.
And do you see broken glass on the mirror in this photograph?
Yes.
Is there a better photograph in the next series?
Yes, there
better?
is.
Okay. And also, do you see blood on the floor of the bathroom?
Yes, there is.
Describe to us what we see here.
Again, more broken glass on the floor. You see blood where Mr. Toledo was, and the taser sitting on the ground there.
Okay, that's a little gun-shaped device.
That's correct.
Okay. When you see Investigator Sheps kneeling in the doorway and talking to the defendant, where was he with respect to this photograph?
In the doorway, I'd say his feet were probably, if they weren't, I'd say they're probably a few inches back from the tile. So, I mean, his feet and knees were almost in the doorway itself. And that's where he was kneeling.
Kind of leaning there against the jamb or in the threshold?
Yeah, he would have been inside. So if somebody would shut the door, it would have hit him.
And this is back during the second trip
That's
to the
correct.
bathroom?
That is correct, the second trip.
Not associated with the suicide attempt?
Correct.
Okay. But again, we see blood on the floor, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Broken pieces of door as well?
Yes, sir.
Next photograph?
That's the sink. You'll see pieces of glass from the mirror that fell in the sink, and then some more blood and pieces of the door.
And the final photograph in the series?
That's the broken mirror.
Judge, if you could turn off the screen for me.